What happens when a former presidential candidate openly warns electoral officials ahead of the next general election? In Akwa Ibom State, Peter Obi declared, "Anybody who refuses to count our votes in 2027, we will count them." Supporters shares, critics raised eyebrows. But what exactly did he mean? And why is this statement more significant than it sounds? Because 2027 may not just be another election year, it could redefine public trust in Nigerians' democracy. In this video, we break down the strategy, the hidden power game, and what this means for Nigerians' future. Please like this video, subscribe, and stay with us. This story runs deeper than the headlines. Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State and 2023 presidential candidate, stood before supporters in Akwa Ibom State and issued a stern warning ahead of 2027. He said, "In the upcoming year, in 2027, anybody who refuses to count our votes, we will count the person join." The crowd roared. At face value, it sounded like a call for vigilance, but politically, it was a calculated message. Was this a metaphor, a warning, or a signal to political actors? Public reaction was immediate. Supporters saw strength. Critics warned about rising political tension. National observers focused on one word: accountability. This was not a random statement. It was deliberate timing. To understand this moment, we must revisit 2023. Peter Obi left the People's Democratic Party after disagreement over its nomination process. He joined the Labour Party and mounted one of the most youth-driven presidential campaigns in Nigeria's modern political history. His message was consistent: transparency, digital result transmission, and electoral accountability. Now, in 2026, after formally joining the African Democratic Congress in December 2025, he is repositioning. Politicians don't introduce teams early unless they intend to build an election around them. By emphasizing vote counting now, more than a year before the election cycle intensifies, Obi is framing 2027 around electoral integrity, and framing an election early is a strategic advantage. Let's analyze the strategy beneath the word. First, agenda setting. If the central political debate becomes "we vote counts," then the election conversation shifts from personality to process. Second, base consolidation. Obi's strongest support base in 2023 came from young voters who believe in systemic reform. This message reactivates that base emotionally. Thirdly, national institutional pressure. Statements like this stubbornly pressure electoral body to operate transparently because scrutiny is already building. But here is the contradiction. Strong rhetoric mobilizes supporters, but strong rhetoric can also raise political temperature. In fragile democracies, tones matters. Was this calculated intensity or political risk? Most headlines focus on the quotes. Few analyze the timing. December 2025, Obi joined the ADC. Early 2026, he amplifies his electoral integrity messaging. That is not coincidence. That is sequencing. Political rebranding requires a unifying team. Electoral reform is Obi's most consistent identity marker since 2023. Another overlooked factor, by speaking in Akwa Ibom, outside its traditional stronghold, he is signaling national reach, not regional politics. That matters in coalition building. Now, let's examine institutional implication. Electoral bodies are constitutionally mandated to conduct free and fair elections. Statements suggesting consequences for failure can be interpreted in two ways. 1. Civil vigilance. 2. Escalatory rhetoric. Security agency monitors political speech closely, especially ahead of election cycles. Will this statement lead to reform conversation or political polarization? Among voters, the message resonates emotionally. Public trust in electoral processes has been fragile in past cycles, and trust, once shaken, is difficult to restore. But here's the part nobody is talking about. This may not be about 2027 alone. It may be about shaping the psychology of the electorate long before ballots are printed. The earlier you convince voters that their vote must be defended, the stronger your mobilization network becomes. That's political psychology. Let's widen the lens. If electoral integrity becomes the dominant narrative, political parties may demand stricter oversight. Civil societies groups may intensify monitoring. International observers may increase scrutiny. That could strengthen democracy. But here is the tension. If rhetoric escalates across party, the political climate could become more adversarial. High vigilance can protect democracy. High suspicions can destabilize it. Nigeria stands at that balance point. Three possible scenarios. 1. Reform momentum. Every pressure leads to stronger electoral safeguards and improved transparency in 2027. The second scenario is that political polarization. Competing narrative about vote protection intensify partisan divisions. Then the third scenario is strategic moderation. Political actors recalibrate language while quietly strengthening campaign structures. One thing is certain. Peter Obi has fired the opening signal for 2027. The question now is not whether elections will be contested. The question is whether institutions are prepared for the scrutiny that is coming. As Nigeria approaches another defining election cycle, rhetoric, reform, and reality will collide. Will 2027 be remembered as the year democracy strengthened or the year political tension deepened? Drop your thought in the comments. Do you see this as necessary accountability or rising political heat? Like this video if you value investigative political analysis. Subscribe for in-depth reporting on governance, election, and power in Africa. Because in politics, the words spoken today often shape the headlines of tomorrow, and we will be here to break them down. Thank you.